हरे गंगे महादेव श्री शंकरा पार्वती पति महादेव श्री शंकरा.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place to discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. Today, I wanted to answer a question that I have received from many people throughout the years, and it is honestly a question that I even had for myself, especially at the beginning of my coaching journey 10 years ago. And this question is, how can I coach others or even help others if I am not totally healed? So I want to break this question down and also honor the place that it's coming from, which is a place, I believe, of integrity, of wanting to genuinely help people and not do any harm. Also, it can be coming from a place of fear, the fear of what if I am not enough, as well as a place of imposter syndrome. What does healed enough even look like? So let's look at all of these and see how they may be coming into play for you. So we've all kind of grown up in the school system that teaches us you have to go through a linear progression for growth. You know, you start in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you do addition, then subtraction, multiplication, division. You learn Spanish. First, you learn some nouns, and you learn some adjectives, or you're lifting weights, you're lifting 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. So we see things as step 1, 2, 3. So of course, we're going to look at healing in the same way. We're going to look at it as which step, which level am I at? But the thing is, healing is not something that we can quantify. It's not something that we can put into perfect packages that we can check off boxes and understand. Healing is more like a spiral. So if you think about a spiral as opposed to a line, a spiral is, at the mall when they have those things you can put the coins in, they start spinning down until they get to the very, very bottom. They're spinning super, super fast and they go down. I think of healing like that. You're circling. So maybe the first circle, you're like really looking at things from a broad level. So you're looking at, okay, I'm noticing that there is some anger inside of me, or I'm noticing that I'm getting triggered because of this thing. And it's this really like broad, vague, maybe you're not really giving it much thought. You're just sort of recognizing those things, but you're still kind of dancing around them, which I would say most people are at. Then you go deeper into your healing journey and you keep passing by those same spots. So you may keep passing by this anger that you are feeling, and then you start to go deeper and deeper into it. Okay, where is that anger coming from? Okay, what is triggering it? Okay, what wounds are attached to it? Okay, how can I bring about healing? How can I look at it from a deeper way? And now that coin is spinning and spinning and spinning and going deeper and deeper and deeper, still passing by that same point, but in a deeper and deeper level. And that's really what healing is. The things in your life that you are healing are a lifelong journey. There is no point that they are totally gone out of your life. However, they do get to a point that there no longer is that pull on you. It's no longer that thing that stands out when it happens, but you'll just kind of remember of, oh, wow, I remember I used to be really triggered about that thing. So for me, stepping into my Dharma, my soul's purpose, when I would see other people living their purpose, in a way I would be triggered, not in an angry way, but I was like, how is that possible? Like, I don't get it. Did they grow up with parents who were really supportive of them? Did they grow up here in Bali or something? Like, I just didn't understand how someone could just be like a tantric life coach. I had just never seen someone like that before. So there was a little ripple there when I would see these people, because I would just ask them questions of like, do your parents know you're here? How do you make money? Like, how does this actually work? So then I started to go deeper and deeper into discovering my own soul's purpose and what I'm here to do. And then eventually that's the thing that I teach other people to do, and now created my Dharma Coaching Institute to train people to coach others to do. So it's really become my life's work, even though at the beginning it was this thing that triggered me. So often the things that are our triggers, that are our wounds, that are the very things that we feel like, well, am I healed enough in this thing? Those are the very things that we excavate into. We deep dive into them because That's our soul's lesson here. That's our curriculum. For example, for me, relationships haven't been like my biggest teacher. Relationships, for the most part, have been more smooth and easy in my life, to be honest. So that's why I don't really ever see myself being a relationship coach, because I haven't had to do a lot of work per se in that area. It's just been more of something that's been flowing. Of course, challenges show up, but it's not my main area of growth. Whereas my purpose, my soul's calling, my creativity, this is my soul's work. It's where my blocks were, and it's also where my gifts are. And that's really what I focus on. So those very things that you might be thinking about, well, am I healed enough in this way? So maybe for you, it's, am I healed enough because I still get jealous of people on social media? Or am I healed enough because I haven't done enough certifications or trainings? Or am I healed enough because whatever that unique thing is for you, I would put a microscope on that thing and really look into it. Because underneath that wound, that feeling of not enoughness is actually your greatest growth. And there are other people who are also holding themselves back in their lives because of that very same wound. So maybe it's, I'm too old, it's too late for me to step into my purpose, or I'm too young, no one's going to take me seriously, or I'm too busy, I'm a single mom, or I'm not interesting enough, I've just been in corporate my whole life, or I'm not a good speaker, or I'm not good on camera. Whatever that thing is for you, take a microscope and start questioning. Start to become your own coach in that area. When did that idea start coming up in your mind? Who told you that, maybe for the first time? And is it true that there is a certain age that one can be and then they can no longer live their Dharma? Or that people who are once in corporate can never step into their purpose? Or people who experience trauma cannot help people? Like, is that true? And then find evidence for all of the people out there who are examples of that not being true. People who were able to overcome their trauma and that being the very thing that they share about and help others. People who found their Dharma later in life or early in life. People who transitioned from corporate. Find those expanders for you, because that creates evidence in your mind that this belief is actually not valid. I have this belief that this is a rule, that people like me cannot help others. And then when you realize that that's not true, that this person and that person and that person had that very same block and they're helping people in their own unique way, you start to break down that belief. So going back to our school system, and this is really important for each of us to really sit with, there's this feeling of we have to almost pass a test to reach the next level, right? Like you have to do your exams. Are you going to pass the grade, your SATs? Like there are so many exams that we have been put through all around the world. Is there an exam on healing? What does it mean to be healed enough? What does that actually look like for you? And maybe you do have an idea in your mind. And perhaps you are speaking from a place of integrity, that you haven't done any healing work on yourself, and you maybe start crying anytime that you start to talk about certain things. Then yes, maybe there's deeper work to do within yourself before coaching people. Then I would say that that idea is coming from a place of integrity. So I would say, no, if you have never done any healing on yourself, you have never started to question your beliefs, you have never stepped into personal development this is your very first time, then probably being a coach, it's not the right time for you. It doesn't mean you can't learn to become a coach. You know, when I signed up for my coaching certification that I did when I was in college, my junior year, I didn't even think I would ever become a coach. I just did it because I wanted to learn more about coaching. So you can definitely learn more about coaching, but maybe you want to get to a place that you aren't crying in a coaching session, or you know yourself better. You can feel confident. You can feel like you are truly offering value. And I think that that is a really important distinction, because if you know that you're not able to really help people, then great. Now is not the time. Now is the time to learn everything for yourself, and your own healing journey you'll be able to share with others. And on the other flip of the coin, If you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to guess that this is not your first rodeo into healing and spirituality and personal growth. It may be, but for most people who find this podcast, it's not. Just because I'm not really speaking at an elementary level here, and, Highest Self podcast doesn't really attract the mainstream masses per se. So oftentimes as spiritual people who are interested in self-growth, we're very self-aware. And that self-awareness can also be our kryptonite. It can also make us really look at all of the things that we still need to heal and then feel like, well, I still can't help people because look at all these things I'm aware about, all of my shadows right here. I still have those. I'm aware of all of them. And I'm going to be real with you because I have been in a lot of different, spiritual circles. And I see that sometimes we use that badge of not being healed enough to prevent us from stepping into our purpose. And I really want that to sink in if that's true for you. Because sometimes it's easier for us to say, oh, I'm not healed enough. I still need to do this and I need to do that. And I need to heal this and I need to heal that, because it negates us from the responsibility from really stepping into our calling, our mission, and being of service to others. Back when I lived in Bali, I saw this a lot in some of the communities there, that it was just, they're going from their rebirthing workshop to their healing their past lives workshop, to their healing their ancestral wounds workshop, to their this, to their that, to their that. And that's amazing. And I love all of these things. That's why I love Bali so much. And some of these people have been on a healing journey for like 10 plus years and have still never shared their wisdom with others. They feel a lot safer to be in the seat of the person needing to receive the healing than the healer. And they have a lot of wisdom to share. It's just they still feel like they're not ready. And the truth is, there's never going to be that perfect moment of feeling ready enough. You never hear this whisper of like, okay, now it's time. You've done enough healing work. Or actually, you may. That's kind of how it felt for me, because I was on my healing journey and I had this realization of like, okay, there's going to be a never-ending list of things for me to heal. And I will continue to be on this journey for the rest of my life. But sometimes you just need to step away for a little bit, or to balance it with sharing what you've learned with others. Because I see healing and personal growth really as a ladder that is, again, perpetually spiraling. So there are many different ladders in many different areas of our lives. So there may be the ladder of your creativity, and the ladder of your relationships, and the ladder of you speaking your truth, and the ladder of imposter syndrome, and the ladder of feeling of unworthiness. So these are all different pathways, and we all have all of them, right? So maybe I'm further along the ladder of stepping into my Dharma than someone else is. So even though I'm not, there is still a lot more for me to go, I can still help people because I may be just a couple steps ahead of them on this ladder. However, they may have a lot of wisdom to share with me about singing. That's something I haven't put a lot of time and energy into. Or raising children. That's something I have zero awareness about. So it doesn't mean that I'm further healed or they're further healed. We're just evolved in different areas of our ladder, not even healed. It's just I have been on this ladder for a little bit longer than someone else's, and they've been on a certain ladder than a little bit longer someone else than I have. And the truth is, every single person you meet is going to be further along on some ladders. Even your carpenter that comes in, they probably know a lot more about building things with their hands than you do. Or your gardener, they probably know a lot more about connecting with Mother Earth than you do. So every single person you meet is further along on some ladder, on some journey than you are, and can be your teacher in some way. And that includes you. You also are further along on some ladders and some journeys than other people. And you can teach others what you have learned. And not from a place of I have it all figured out, but from a place of I've just put more emphasis on this area of my life and I've learned more. And here are the tools that have helped me. Or here's some questions I've asked myself that have helped me unravel my own wisdom. And that's what coaching actually is. So I think a lot of people, they think to be a coach means you have to have the answers. And that is actually not at all what coaching is. If you hire someone as a coach and they're telling you what they believe the answers are, that is not coaching. A coach is someone who holds space, who allows you to feel safe and connected, to speak your truth, and asks you questions to take you further into it. So they are asking you questions to help unravel the wisdom that is already within you. They are not telling you what to do because the truth is, no one can tell you what to do. I don't know what's right for you. No one can. However, I can ask you certain questions that I feel may be blind spots that you haven't looked into, and that will help you have your own aha moment, your own realization, your own epiphany, which will help you build your ladder to truth. I can't pull you up by the collar and bring you up to my ladder because you're not going to learn the ropes. You're only going to build that strength and that awareness and that balance when you step into that trajectory yourself. So that's why I see a lot of people, they think, oh, well, I don't know everything. You're not here to be someone's guru, right? And that age of the guru is dead because people don't believe that some person has the answer for their lives. The truth is, it feels much better when you come up with a conclusion yourself than someone else telling you what to do. I mean, how many times has someone told you what to do and you discarded it, but then later you had basically the same revelation, but it meant so much more because it came from within. So that's really what you do as a coach. You don't need to know their answer. You cannot know their answer. It is coming from the ego if you think you know their answer, but you can ask them questions. And it's actually this really fun game that you end up playing because you might see a potentiality for them, but you can't tell them that because you need them to see it for themselves. So you might see their highest self and what they're capable of. And even you might very clearly see some of the things that are holding them back. But now you get to be that detective of, okay, how can I ask the right questions to build that pathway to unravel the road that is going to bring them there with their own awareness? And it feels so good when someone has their own conclusion and you're just like, yes, I couldn't have even told you that thing. You needed to come up with it for yourself. And often it's not even the very thing that you thought it was going to be, because we can't know someone's lessons and karma and past lives and all of that stuff. Only they can feel it within themselves. And sometimes people need to make decisions to create that trust and that confidence within themselves without someone else telling them what to do. If you sign up for someone to be your coach and they're telling you what to do, guess what? You're going to lose your own sense of power. You're going to not be able to make decisions for yourself. And that's actually very, very toxic. And that's one of the things we teach at Dharma Coaching Institute. Never, ever, ever tell someone what to do, because that's just going to create a codependency. And that's not what coaching is. So I share this because it makes you realize that being a coach does not mean you need to know the answers. And there is a difference between being someone's coach and someone's mentor, per se. A coach is someone who asks powerful questions to help people identify their own truth. A mentor is someone who has maybe done something that you have wanted to do. So maybe you get a mentor who owns a yoga studio and they're mentoring you around how to set up shop and how to make your schedule and all the things that they have done before. So they're not coaching you. They're not asking you questions. They're not holding space. It's not about you coming up with your own conclusion of what you want to do as a yoga studio owner. They are there to just mentor you and tell you, and they're the ones probably doing the majority of the talking, and you are more of the student taking notes and listening. So being a mentor is very different than being a coach. And both are important roles to play. But yes, it is true that you should have complete experience on the thing that you are mentoring people about. However, as a coach, you actually don't necessarily have gone through the exact obstacle that that person has gone through to coach them. So I have coached thousands of people at this point, and there's no way I could have had all of their direct life experiences. I can see myself often in them. I work with people around Dharma, soul purpose coaching. That's my area of expertise. So people tend to come to me when they want that type of coaching in their lives. I'm not going to be a polyamorous coach. That's not something I have experience with. However, I can't have all of their blocks and all of their fears and all of their family conditions. It's impossible. I'm just one person. But because I can ask questions, Because I know the art of coaching, regardless of what they've gone through, I can help facilitate their own awareness. So don't feel like you need to have crazy life experiences or this like amazing TED Talk worthy story for you to become a coach. Because there are a lot of people out there who also might feel like, well, I'm not special. I'm not important. I don't have this amazing, impactful story. So who am I to share my voice? Who am I to step into my purpose? And you can share your own resistances that you had and how you were able to overcome it. So truthfully, there is a coach for every person. And there are people out there who are waiting for you to share your voice in your unique way that only you can. Because not everyone's going to resonate with my voice. It's impossible. And not everyone's going to resonate with any one coach. That's why there are thousands of coaches out there, and there are billions of people who need coaching. And they're all going to resonate with different people and in different areas of their lives and in different time periods of their lives. So a coach doesn't mean you have to like lifelong be with that person. You may be the perfect coach for someone at a certain area of their lives. You know, someone who maybe coaches new moms. It's a very specific time period of someone's life, but there's always going to be new people stepping into that initiation. Or people who just graduated from college. It's a specific time period, and you can be the expert in that. Doesn't mean you're the expert for all college grads, but maybe college grads who studied something like in the sciences, but they want to step into arts, and that was your story, and that's what you coach people about. So the integration of you is really where you thrive as a coach. Taking the areas of your life that feel unrelated. You know, maybe you are a hairdresser and you're like, who's going to come to me for coaching? Like, I've been a hairstylist. But there are a lot of people out there who want to integrate beauty and self-care with their transformation. And probably as a hairstylist, you have done a lot of free coaching on that chair as well. People open up when they have hours with someone and they finally get a chance to listen. So probably you already are coaching people and hearing their stories and holding space and asking questions, but you just don't know the tools, the boundaries, the way to actually create a container around it. So you might not just feel confident in it yet. So this is why actually investing in your own personal growth and becoming a coach is so helpful, because then that feeling of imposter syndrome of like, I don't really know if I'm coaching people, like I'm helping people all the time, but is that even coaching? That's going to go away when you actually learn the art of coaching, the fundamentals of what actually makes a coaching session. How do they start? What's the middle? How do they end? What if someone keeps talking? How do I end the conversation? And, I have to go on to my next client. What do I do? Or what if someone comes to me once, they don't want to come back? Or what if I feel like they didn't like me and I'm in my head about it? Like all these questions come up, and I've had all of them and more. And not every coaching client is going to be smooth and easy. Sometimes you have coaching clients that you're like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know if I should be working with this person or what to do. Like, how do you know when you should refer them out to someone else? These are all real things that happen in coaching that if you don't actually get the education, you're just not going to know how to handle. So I share this with you because it's twofold. Am I healed enough to become a coach? There is no such thing as being healed enough, because we are all on that trajectory. We're all on that ladder, and there's always going to be more room to grow. And being a coach is a responsibility. People are opening up to you. There is a level of vulnerability, and you need to hold that level of safety for people. So if you just decide out of nowhere to start coaching people and you have no awareness about it, yes, that actually can create harm. And I see a lot of people going into the coaching space that are opening up cans of worms that they're not trained in opening. For example, going deep into someone's childhood trauma. Unless you have really trained in trauma, especially as a therapist, and I want to share the difference between being a therapist and being a coach. A therapist is someone that goes into someone's past, someone's childhood, someone's traumas, and brings them healing. And there's many different forms, such as somatic experiencing, cognitive behavioral therapy, etc. So if you want to actually go into someone's childhood, their traumas, work with people with different mental health challenges, then I actually suggest for you to study to become some sort of therapist or going into a more clinical area, because that's not what coaching is. You're not going to be working with people to help heal their OCD or ADD or ADHD. That is out of the scope of a coach. And I think it's really important to know that, because I see a lot of people who maybe they had the experience themselves of overcoming those things and they're coaching people, but they don't know the way that you coach someone is actually quite different than how you would necessarily do it on yourself. It's a good starting point, but there's a lot more to coaching. A coach, on the other hand, is someone that looks at where you are in this present moment and where you want to be in the future and helps you build that pathway. So who I train are soul purpose and spiritual life coaches. So my school is called Dharma Coaching Institute. We're ICF recognized, which is the International Coaching Federation. It's the gold star of coaching programs. So even if you don't join us at DCI, Dharma Coaching Institute, I would say also look at if the program is ICF recognized, because that just means there's a third party that looked through the curriculum, looked through the way that you're training people, and it's just going to be of the highest caliber. So who I train are people who work with people who you may have had trauma in your life. I think all of us have had a degree of trauma in your life, but it's not an open wound. You're not working with people on their traumas. You can be informed of their traumas, and I think it's important to. However, you are not here to dive into their trauma. You are here to look at where they are right now, especially on a spiritual level, what they feel their soul's purpose is. And we give you so many different tools and practices, such as the Dharma blueprint, the Dharma journey spiral, the Dharma chakra system, nervous system healing, embodiment work, so many different tools. And you help them build a pathway towards embodying their soul's purpose. So for me, this is really what I have put the entire 6-month training around, because I believe that as a coach, there's so much depth that we all get to go through, because we can only take people to levels of transformation that we have experienced within ourselves. So at Dharma Coaching Institute, it's all about you stepping into your own Dharma, your own soul's purpose, doing all of the practices and tools within yourself. Every single week, you are actually practice coaching with other people. So you are coaching them, other students. So that's your place that you get to play around and be messy and be vulnerable. But then you're also being coached by them. So by the end of the program, you have probably done 50 plus hours of coaching just within the curriculum, that you will have learned so much about yourself and be able to integrate that awareness in the way that you are coaching people. Because again, like that fear at the beginning, if you don't feel like you're stepping into your own Dharma, it's going to be quite difficult to help support others. And at the same time, there's no threshold that you're perfectly healed and you're your perfect Dharma. There's always going to be more to grow. So you are actually doing that coaching in real time. We have 2 years of support after graduation. So every single month, there are continuing coaching sessions where we have different workshops, such as overcoming guilt as a coach, group coaching, just any questions that might come up. I think sometimes people who do like online coaching certifications that are just content and there's no actual calls, like problems come up, questions come up, you don't know what to do with things, and then you feel really alone. So our community is such a huge part of what we do, because then you're able to ask people, I have a client that is needing more of this. What have you done? Or in my coaching session, we used this breathwork practice and it was super amazing. Here's what I did. And you're in real time sharing with other people and hearing other people's experiences that give you a behind the scenes view of what coaching actually looks like. So it's not this like metaphysical thing that you're like wondering if you're doing and you're not sure if you are, but you're actually in community and in conversation with people who are coaching even beyond your graduation. So we also teach you everything about creating a business around coaching too, which to me is so important, because to be honest, most spiritual people I see out there have a massive abundance block. And again, it comes back to that feeling of like, am I good enough? Am I worthy? And I will say there is this level of like softness and integrity in that, of like, oh my God, I don't want to charge people because I love what I'm doing and I feel bad charging them. And I used to feel the exact same way. And you're right on the head of your Dharma if you love what you are doing so much that you feel bad charging people. Like that is the perfect spot to be. because that means you're literally doing what you're here to do, that you would be doing it for free. Like this podcast, I just woke up and I just wanted to talk about this thing, and here I am doing it. So that is amazing that you would do this thing for free, but that doesn't mean you always should. You can still definitely take pro bono clients. You can offer it in community service areas and volunteer as a coach. There's so much that you can do for free. Offer content, create a podcast, create a YouTube channel, give talks, create a summer camp. Like there's so much you could do. And if you are needing an income to live, which most of us do, unless someone is supporting us, there's something that you are doing with most of your day that's the thing that creates income for you, right? Your job, your career. And if you want to be able to fully focus on coaching, on self-development, spiritual awareness, if you want your job to be you spiritually growing, then it's important to be able to also find a way to create an income doing so you can full-time focus on that thing. Like if I had a 9-to-5 job doing something else totally random, I would not have the time, energy, or space to record this podcast and share on social media every day and create my YouTube videos every week and just all the things that I do. It's because this is my full-time work. So I think it's important to really look at that block that I think a lot of us spiritual people have of like, oh, well, if you love doing it, you shouldn't charge. For sure, you can do things for free and offer it for free. And if you're never charging, guess what? You're just going to have to do something else for money that's not in alignment with your Dharma. And is that what you want? So again, maybe you just want to be a coach that coaches people for free. And that's a beautiful offering that you can do. And I think it's important to not feel guilty and bad around wanting to create a living for yourself as a coach, because it's just the only way you're going to be able to take it to the next level and dive into the journey without worrying about your other job and responsibilities and all the other things that happen with any type of career. So right now, doors are open for our Dharma Coaching Institute class of fall. So it begins the week of October 10th and it goes on for 6 months until April. So if you are feeling the call and this is helping you realize like, okay, yes, it's not that I'm healed enough. It's that I'm always on a healing journey and there are things for me to learn and grow. And that journey also requires me to continue to be up-leveling myself. And I'll be truthful, I am always in at least one certification. Like right now I'm being trained in polyvagal theory. I was trained in womb healing last year. I'm always in a certification just because there are always new avenues that I'm learning about. I just always want to be adding more tools into my toolkit. And then I pour all of that wisdom into Dharma Coaching Institute. Like we have a whole workshop around integrating your Dharma with your menstrual cycle. We have workshops around nervous system healing. So I'm always diving into my own personal growth journey because then I can pick the tools and the gems that have really served me and then translate them and share them and how it relates into someone's soul's purpose. So maybe you feel like you're at a plateau. Maybe you've realized that you're spending a lot of time on social media, just like trying to find new, interesting content. But the thing is, people aren't sharing like their best transformative content on social media. You just can't. It's just little squares. It's 20-second videos. You're not going to radically transform your life just from social media content. So if you're actually wanting to step into an initiation, like a portal of transformation with community, with guidance, having a direction that you're putting your energy towards instead of just like going on YouTube and scrolling and trying to find new interesting things, or even looking through podcasts, like a podcast is a really good welcome. It's like, hey, there's this area, there's this topic for you to learn about, such as Dharma coaching, such as nervous system healing, such as Ayurveda. Now, which of these doors would you like to walk through? Because it's very easy for us to play on the surface, for us to be like, oh, I'm going to learn a little bit about this and a little bit about that, a little bit about that. And that's great. And we're all multidimensional. But if we actually want to be able to help people, be able to create a movement, be able to create that inner evolution within ourselves, we need to go deeper than the surface. Just being a little bit aware about a million different topics is amazing. And what are the tools that you want to master? What are the areas that you want to focus on? Is it your soul's purpose? Or maybe it's something else, and that's okay too. But my invitation for you is to just go beyond the introductory level and to take any area of focus and to just dive into it and see where that journey takes you. Because not only will you learn so much more about that topic, but you will learn so much about yourself. That's why the journey is 6 months. We started as a 4-month program, and I'm like, no, 4 months is not enough, because I realized that the 3-mark level is where people actually start to land in. So it honestly takes us 3 months of something to actually start to then notice, okay, where are my blocks? Where are my blind spots? Where are the triggers that are being activated in me? Because the first 3 months, we're kind of in a honeymoon phase around anything. But after those 3 months, that's when, people tend to drop off on things or dive deeper. So that's why the first 2 months are going into coaching fundamentals. You start right away with practice coaching and just learning, what does it mean to be a coach? Then the next 2 months, you're learning all the different tools that are proprietary. They're all tools that I have channeled that are only available in Dharma Coaching Institute. So you're learning about, again, the Dharma blueprint, the chakra system, the everything. Then the last 2 months are intensive business training. So you are learning everything from how to price, how to set up a coaching session, how to make sales, how to talk about your offers, how to personal brand, how to find your niche, how to launch a podcast, social media, personal branding, like all of these different things you're diving into. And then the 2 years of continual training as part of our alumni network. So I share this with you so you can just see the levels of depth that even just diving into your soul's purpose has to offer. So whatever that area is, whether it's Dharma Coaching Institute, you love this podcast, you want to learn deeper from me than this podcast, then join us. But whatever it is, there are so many initiations that happen. It's like a relationship. Like if you just keep dating people for 3 months, you're never going to get to like the meat of it. You're never really going to be in true devotional love, because you're still at that surface. So if you feel like, am I good enough, healed enough, whatever it is, maybe it's your heart telling you, I haven't really fully committed to learning anything. So maybe that imposter syndrome, because I believe imposter syndrome often has threads of truth in it. So maybe that thread of truth is, I haven't really devoted into learning anything about myself, into mastering a topic. Then that can be something that you follow. And maybe you are perpetually diving into things and transforming and learning. Then maybe the imposter syndrome is around you feeling unworthy of sharing it to others. And that is only something that you can decipher for yourself. If I was your coach, I could ask you questions, but right now, only you will know. Do you have a million tools in your pocket? You're just not sharing your voice. Then maybe you are needing more of that activation to have more of that fire, that drive, sharing your message with the world, starting a podcast, building a social media, sharing your personal brand. That's your medicine. Or maybe you're that perpetual hopper, you're diving into this, tasting a little bit of that, and you haven't just devoted yourself to a path long enough to really see if it's right for you. Then that's your medicine right there. And this is why we really teach about distinctions in DCI, because I can take any quote and it might be perfect for one person and kryptonite, like horrible for another. So this is why distinctions are so important, because we can't just say everything happens for a reason in every situation, or just be happy. Like that's not what you necessarily need in every circumstance. So this is why having nuance, having awareness, having textures, understanding polarity, understanding that there are no rules. And through practicing coaching, you begin to notice that within yourself. And then you start to gain more of that confidence and more of that mastery that you don't need to cling on to any one form of coaching. And that's really something that we emphasize in DCI. You're not here to be the same. You are here to bring in your unique magic sauce, your unique essence, and share that with other people. Because there is no one who is here to be the coach that you are here to be. And the very things that you are probably the most ashamed about, the things that don't fit in, the things that don't make sense for a coach, those are the things that you actually get to lead with, because they are what set you apart. So if you're interested, you're curious, or you're just feeling the call to join us this fall at DCI, doors are open right now. You can head over to dharmacoachinginstitute.com. That's DHARMA coachinginstitute.com. You can find that link in the show notes. You can learn all about our curriculum, what we have in store for you. Everything is on the website. Or if you have any further questions that are not, we have a whole frequently asked questions location on the website. But if there's any other questions that you have, we have 2 members on our team, Nata and Emily, who can hop on a call with you and personally answer any of your questions. You can find that link to book a free discovery call with them as well on the website. So I hope this just allowed you to see maybe where some of your blind spots are. Maybe you're ready to share your voice out there in the world, or maybe you're ready to dive into your own healing. And I just invite you to really listen to your heart, your inner guidance, and do what is true for you. So again, head over to dharmacoachinginstitute.com. You can learn all about it there. And I'm also offering a lot of free activations for you to experience DCI. So also if you head over to the website and you join our email list, you're able to actually try our sample class, learn more about the experience, and just see how it feels and resonates for you. So again, dharmacoachinginstitute.com, and I hope to see you in our fall class. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.